In August 2021, the British government airlifted 13 security guards, 11 Nepalese and 2 Indian, from Afghanistan to the UK, as Kabul fell to the Taliban. Bam Bahadur Gurung, a 37-year-old Nepalese national, was among those who were welcomed to safety. Bam Bahadur had previously worked for over a decade in Afghanistan, first as a security guard and later as a supervising guard at the British and Canadian embassies in Kabul. He had been promised indefinite leave to remain in the UK, however, after months of uncertainty, on March 27, 2023 he was arrested by the Home Office, detained, and set to face deportation. It is a tragic tale that sees a man, who gave his services and risked his life to protect the British embassy personnel in Kabul, suddenly facing deportation just as he thought he had received a place he could call home. Before his work in Afghanistan, Bam Bahadur had been a soldier in the Nepalese military and worked in Iraq. He had also worked for a security company and lived in the same compound as the British and Canadian staff, some of whom were killed in a direct attack by a Taliban suicide bomber in 2016. Bam Bahadur was initially given hotel accommodation in London, even receiving an Employee of the Month award. But after believing he had found safety in the UK, he was suddenly informed of his non-eligibility to remain in the UK under the Afghan Citizens Resettlement Scheme. And while the British government defends their decision to bring Bam Bahadur and other security guards to the UK out of goodwill, he and many others are now in a state of limbo. With so many of those who interacted with the British government in Afghanistan now in hiding because of how the UK failed to evacuate them, Bam Bahadur was to be the first of these cases that had been brought to safety, only to now be detained and facing deportation. Many are concerned about the fairness of this treatment and question why a man who was given the assurance of resettlement in the UK, only to be arrested and detained, has now been betrayed. And with at least 2 of the group having already been granted indefinite leave to remain, questions are being raised about how these men have been treated by their adopted country. Jamie Bell of Duncan Lewis Solicitors, who representing Bam Bahadur and another Nepalese man in the same situation, has expressed his concern. "My clients risked their lives working to protect the British Embassy in Kabul. They were lawfully evacuated to the UK and were led to believe that they were to be granted permanent residence in the UK. Instead, after being allowed to build a life in the UK, they have been betrayed and detained. Those responsible should be ashamed of how they have been treated," he said. This is a story of the tragedy faced by one man and many others in his situation. It is a story of betrayal and dashed hopes, a story of loyalty and service to the UK, all ultimately leading to uncertainty and indefinite detention. It's a story that shouldn't end with Bam Bahadur and other security guards being faced with deportations for their commitment to the UK.